Chris Schultz here with GabLocal.tv at the Ramada Hotel and Convention Center in Topeka, and we're with the legendary Deborah Brown for the Topeka Jazz Workshop. It's amazing to be speaking with you. We just had a sound check. I've been a fan for a long time, but I've never seen you live before, and this is a real treat because we were out in the front and you were warming up, and I said, "Is Ella Fitzgerald here?" It's just amazing. You to be compared to Ella Fitzgerald, is that good, bad? What's that for you?
That's wonderful. Yeah,
Absolutely.
She's great. Yeah, she's wonderful. I myself, I've been doing this a long time, but there's a reference. And we're in this time period, and Ella Fitzgerald is a part of all of our lives. Even people that are, think they don't know Ella Fitzgerald, they hear something familiar in it because this was on Ed Sullivan's show.
Mm-hmm.
This was on, TV all through the years up until she died, and even afterwards, and her voice is still sampled and things. So yeah, I think it's a really great compliment because of the time period that we're living in. However, I would, of course, naturally, I would like to be known for who I am, but and I do a lot of different things.
You're definitely known for who you are, absolutely. And every show you performed in over 50 countries. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been a learning experience, and you learn about people and you learn about cultures. And you see a lot of the world. And the thing about it that's so very interesting is that people love jazz all over the world. I think that's so incredible.
Absolutely. It's kind of international language, right?
It really, well, music is definitely an international language.
Mm-hmm.
But young people are very involved in jazz. I do a lot of workshops around the world. And so people, it doesn't matter their age. And it always surprises me that when somebody like 15 comes up and they start singing an Ella Fitzgerald song, and I'm going, where did they learn that? So it's really fascinating. I just had an experience, just to share something different with you on the television.
Yeah.
In Poland and also in a place in Slovenia, and they have music schools there with children from early on. Their elementary schools have music as the principal teaching that they do there, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. So what happens is, after all of those years of educating children, you have some fantastic amateur bands, amateur big bands, people that are very interested in music because they know what it's like because they grew up with it. So a musically educated public, that is awesome. So I just think that's kind of interesting.
Speaking, about, the youth, when you were young, did you ever picture this? What did you see? What did you want to do when you grew up?
Oh, I don't think kids think in that term. Well, maybe they do now because we have so much media.
You have a lot of pressure, yeah.
But I do remember having so much fun when I was a kid. That's just kind of naturally what we did at home. Everybody, sang, and my sisters and I, we all sang together. I think I remember when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and we had a show and tell at school. And I got up and I sang a number and I sat down, everybody looked at me, and one girl next to me said, "You can sing." And I said, "Oh, I can?" So it was a natural thing.
Amazing. So how did the path go? What was your big break in this?
You know what? People always like to say this big break thing, but there really is no such thing, I guess, unless you win Star Search or one of those big television shows or whatever. But generally speaking, it is a series of events that inform more people about what you are doing and who you are. Mm-hmm. And so there really is no, what I would call a big event, because there are so many big events in my life. Even as a young person, auditioning and winning, a job at the top of the Hilton when I was 18 years old, going out of my first year of college.
Wow.
That was kind of a cool thing. Just getting into college was kind of cool and scary.
Like a revolving restaurant kind of thing? Is that like?
It was, this was years ago in Kansas City. We had an airport in the city.
Oh, okay.
And we had a hotel that overlooked the airport. And a girlfriend of mine that knew I was interested in singing and dancing because we had grown up in a theater together, she said, "There's an ad in the newspaper for a singer at the Hilton Hotel." And I thought, there is? Now that's remarkable, number one. And I went down and I auditioned and I got the job as the principal singer for Hilton Hotels.
Wow.
So we went from Kansas City to Illinois to all of these different places that we did all these Hilton hotels, and that's how I began to gain experience singing in front of a public, and
That's amazing.
that's how it kind of started. So, but I've done things like unusual things, like I was someplace and someone heard me and said, "You need to warm up for George Carlin's show in Las Vegas." Okay, I'll do that. You got to be ready.
Yeah, I bet you do.
You got to have the dress and the shoes.
Yeah. George Carlin does, right?
George Carlin was a kind of amazing experience.
I bet it would be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so and then 50 countries. So what's it been like traveling around and seeing so many different places, so many different people?
Well, I've been doing it for a long time, and now all I can say is one word: exhausting. Anyway, well, travel's not what it used to be. You got to
Oh.
be a warrior to get on an airplane nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned how to have the business face.
You got it.
Yes, yes, yes. I travel for pleasure and business. You don't mess around with customs people
No,
anymore.
you don't. You can't.
No more jokes.
No, not at all.
So,
Not
I
at
mean,
all.
but it is, I get a chance to meet musicians from every country. That is a serious pleasure. And I just came back from a trip this summer working at a workshop in Slovenia.
Wow.
That was amazing because they had people there that had been, they love their music. They want to get reinvigorated. They go up to the mountains to do a workshop. They get back home. They start their career, or they go to school in New York, or Austria, or someplace, that changes their life. So that's kind of an interesting thing, and the fact that everyone has to speak English, because I'm not going to speak another language. You don't want to hear me do that. But I mean, I speak few little languages here and there, but I mean, it's nothing to, if I'm in trouble, it's going to be English.
Absolutely. So what's the lead up on something like thinking about you're going to Slovenia, and you've got to go do this, and music is an international language, so you're bringing that to them. But what about the whole preparation for something like that? You're going to a country you've never been to before, and you're going to be entertaining these people. I mean, that's a huge thing that I don't think a lot of people will ever have the opportunity to experience. But what's your real quick thought? What goes through your mind when you book a show in Slovenia and you got to get ready for it?
Well, I've been there before, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, several times, and like I've been doing this for quite a long time. But
Yeah.
what you do is you show up, and like I said, you have to be prepared. You have to have your dress and your shoes. No, I'm just kidding. But you really have to have your music together, because you'll be playing with people that may not speak the language very well.
That's what I was thinking.
But
It'd be
but the
hard,
the language of music, everyone around the world has to know that library. They have to know the songs. They have to read the music. They have to be professional. They have to be presented in a way. People in each country also have to know the musicians and have respect for them. And they normally do. And so that's like 50%, because they have respect for the musicians that are playing with you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there with them.
Yeah. Okay, so your influences here. Growing up, who are your icons? Who are your idols? Who made you who you are today?
When I was a kid, my father was a musician. My mother was too. My stepmother was, and my grandmother also was a musician. And
Very musical family.
they did, and they taught me how to play piano. And like I said, it was a very natural thing. My dad was a trombone player, but he was a government official, and so as a result, he did not play his instrument. He didn't practice very often. He didn't have time. But what he did do every weekend was listen to all of his jazz records, J.J. Johnson, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, all of these jazz greats, and they were only instrumentalists, mostly trombonists.
Wow.
If there was a singer on the records, it would be someone like King Pleasure, John Hendricks, someone that sang bebop mostly, because that was the era. And that's my background. So as a result, I love Charlie Parker. I love Hot Lips Page. I love trumpet players. I love Benny Bailey. I've worked with some of the people that I really admire a lot. I've worked with a lot of jazz legends, so to speak. And they taught me an invaluable lesson about not only music, but really about life how to enjoy myself, how to be serious about getting all the music done, and what they say, let me hear those changes. So it has been quite a, it has been quite a career, but it's also very natural. I love all kind of different music. I mean, I love all kind of music,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I draw on. Not just jazz music. I
Mm-hmm.
draw on a lot of different kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
I sing. I also sing classical concerts from time to time.
Yeah.
But I also have played in rock and bands, in funk bands, in top 40 bands, and in show bands. I've done a lot of different kind of music.
Wow. Wow. Well, okay, so today for the Topeka Jazz Concert Series, what do we have in store?
Jazz music.
Deborah, really?
Oh, it's gonna be jazz with the best with the best musicians. And when I say best musicians, there's just a level of musicianship, and it's not like a particular person or not where you are. Okay, they're from New York. They're the greatest. No, I mean you have a level of musicianship, and these guys are definitely it. I mean they're fantastic, and we have such a good, warm relationship together. And it's Steve came to the concert. He heard us. He felt the enthusiasm,
Mm-hmm.
and it is very, very special. And we're gonna bring that here to Topeka this time. Even though I've been here before, because I came once with Giacomo Gates,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like our little bebop program. I came before, and it was like really very, very structured. This time is very loose, and we're just enjoying ourselves. I hope you can be here, and if you came, thank you very much. If you enjoyed it, well, we enjoyed you too.
Yep, and of course you can sign up for the Topeka Jazz Workshop, Topeka Jazz Concert Series. It's 48 years is what we're in here, and it's the longest continuously operating jazz concert series in the nation. We're bringing you Deborah Brown today. This is amazing. Thank you so much for talking
you,
with us
Chris.
today. Really do appreciate it. You bet. And break a leg, is that what we say to jazz? I mean, theater people say break a leg. What do jazz people say when they go on stage?
Uh, See you at the Coda.
Oh, that's good. That's good. My family always said, "Don't mess up." Thank you so much,
Okay,
Deborah. I
no
really do
pressure.
appreciate it.